Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play Blades of Avernum. Last episode, we completed another scenario by Ephesos. This one happened to be, well, it involved a lot of time travel. Specifically, repeatedly going back in time in order to try and stop a paradox. We ended up causing one anyway. Sort of. I think we avoided causing the paradox by being the ones who caused things to change. I don't know. Anyway, we changed the timeline. Things happened. Now it's time to move on to another scenario by Ephesos. Let's investigate this new one. Druids of Krell. Restore the balance of power when a religious leader goes missing. Your party's taste for odd jobs and mysterious lands have brought you to Plyonth Vallis, a sparsely settled valley just outside of Empire lands. The major force behind the settlements in this area is an order of druids, the Order of Krell. These are the people who require your services, saying that they need an old enemy removed, and that they'll pay generously. The order seems peaceful enough, helping the villages in the valley defend and support each other. If nothing else, they have kept the valley as pristine as when it was discovered. You approach their temple, which lies at the center of an immense nature preserve, filled with every plant and friendly animal you've ever seen, plus a few more. When you enter the temple, a druid who introduces himself as Brother Oakleaf leads you up a ladder built into one of the towering trees which serve as the temple's buildings. You reach the top, entering a small, comfortable chamber, meant to look like a small woodland glade. Oakleaf tells you to relax and wait. Soon, a druid dressed in dark green robes enters and greets you, introducing himself as Brother Ephesos, the leader of the Order of Krell. "As you know," he begins, "I've summoned you here to help us protect our valley. Our enemy is relentless and quite powerful. They call themselves the Order of Flame, and their leader is a Drake Lord named Karprev. The Order's members are mostly lizards and drakes, so I'm sure you'll be able to handle it." You're about to tell him you accept the mission when the room goes dark, and you lose consciousness. You eventually wake up in a dark dungeon cell. At least you think so, judging from the rats, torches, and general smell. You try the gate to your cell, but it's stuck fast. You can't quite see into the darkness of the dungeon, but you see a small fire with two shadows positioned there. Then one of them steps into the light, revealing a giant cockroach, much like the ones that formerly infested Valorum. As you begin to gather your senses, you notice a scroll in the corner of your cell. Maybe you should read it and get an idea of what's going on. Okay, so here we are. Let's investigate this note. Adventurers, a terrible thing has occurred. The leader of our order, Brother Ephesos, has disappeared, and we cannot locate him. We believe the Order of Flame is responsible. Something must be done, and I trust that you can help us. You must leave and find me as quickly as possible. There's a secret passageway down there somewhere. I trust you can find it. Oh yes, there's the matter of the gate. I've put a small spell into this paper that should be able to open it for you. Once you escape, you can find me encamped on the Order Preserve. I can answer your questions then. Good luck, adventurers. Brother Oakleaf. Much to your annoyance, you now have more questions than answers as to what happened to you. Anyway, Brother Oakleaf can probably clear things up a bit. You've just got to find him. You step out of your cell only to see that the others are heavily damaged by cave-ins. Looks like these cells haven't been used for ages, and it really shows. You wonder who built these and to what end, but the need to escape overrides your curiosity. You must find a way to get back to the Order somehow. Okay. Climb the ruined staircase, only to find that the hallway here is caved in completely. It's completely impassable, and digging your way out could take weeks. There must be another way out somewhere. You said a secret passage, so let's start banging our heads against the walls. Ah, here we are. Having been underground for quite some time, you stumble around in the sunlight for a while trying to get your bearings. Soon you're ready to proceed to find out just what happened to you. probably the way out. We don't want to go there yet. You know what, let's just go into the grove here. You enter the inner section of the Order's Preserve and suddenly remember that you still need to find Brother Oakleaf. Maybe you should search the rest of the preserve first so that you can find out what's going on. To the south, you think you see a small drake descend by the water's edge. Might be a good idea to approach carefully. In this small camp by the preserve's lake, you immediately notice that something is amiss. 4 sets of scorch marks lead from the camp's fire towards a drake and 3 fire lizards who are currently threatening a druid. The druid appears to be beckoning to you for help. Naturally, you rush in at the drake, hoping to rescue the unfortunate druid. Charge! Okay. That works. Okay, another healing, why not? There we go. Having killed the drake and its allies, the druid you saved introduces himself as Brother Oakleaf, a member of the Order. Before you ask, I am the one who left the note in your cell. I would have helped you escape the cells personally, but I was busy searching for Brother Ephesos around the temple. As to your imprisonment, the foul members of the Order of Flame who broke into the temple threw you in our disused cells. Anyway, something horrible has befallen the Order, as you already know. I have the responsibility to find Ephesos, and now that you've helped me finish off those foul lizards, I can continue my quest. Right now, I need to go to Relius to get some equipment. I'll be there for some time, so meet me there if you wish to help in my quest. Until we meet again, adventurers. You seriously doubt that one person can take on the Order of Flame, particularly if he can't beat a few lizards by himself. But he does seem to know what's going on, unlike you. Bonnie leveling up. Oh, we all leveled up from that. Fascinating. As you enter this mossy stone circle, the 2 drakes you spotted earlier suddenly burst out of the treetops, streaking towards you. However, one of the pair veers off and heads out of the preserve. The only problem is that still leaves you with 1 drake. Man, Fox is really encumbered. There we go. The drake lies dead. Your best guess is that it was sent by the Order of Flame, but you can't think of a way to be sure of it. Either way, the residents of Warren will definitely love to hear of this. Warren? Okay, then. Having saved Brother Oakleaf, you enter the intersection of the Order's Preserve and are stunned by the sheer scale of the surrounding forest. You should probably head for the temple to see exactly what is going on. Entering Order of Krell Nature Preserve. No littering. Hold on a second. Relius. The hell, let's go into the preserve. Alright, in we go. You enter the Order of Krell's temple, astounded by what you see. Not only does the Order keep live bears and pixies in its holiest temple, but the buildings themselves are carved into living trees. Big ones. Looking up, you can even see a second level. The buildings there are connected by narrow stone rope bridges. The whole place looks like the Druids just put a hedge around a section of forest. Wait, a hedge? The Druids seem to have odd taste in architecture, or rather landscaping. Still, it looks thick enough to keep out unwanted visitors, and you can see thorns. You make small talk with this druid for a while, but you learn nothing new. You approach the Ursag with your weapons partially drawn. Much to your surprise, it doesn't try to kill you. Put your weapons back, please, and don't look at me like that. It's impolite. My name is Brother Sharpclaw, and I'm not going to try to kill you. We usually don't see many friendly Ursagi. Ah, how common a reaction. No one ever suspects us of any virtue, they only see the claws. Granted, they are big claws. Anyway, I met an Order Druid in the forest one day, and he was so surprised by the fact that I didn't kill him that he brought me here. I joined the Order, became a priest, and I've been studying with Sky here for 6 years now. Are people ever scared of you? Brother Sharpclaw looks puzzled. Of course not. Why would they? They know I work with the Order, so they know they have nothing to fear. These people clearly don't think like the average Empire citizen. Of course, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So what is it you do here? Well, I can completely restore your party for a nominal fee of 300 gold coins. But if you're after spells, talk to Sky. I haven't studied that far yet. Exorbitant as usual. As you approach the temple's altar, you can't help but notice the Dryad standing in front of the pedestals. She calmly beckons you forward. It's unusual to see a Dryad anywhere outside of the deepest forest, but somehow it doesn't seem weird that one would be at home in the Order Temple. Greetings, adventurers. My name's Sky, and I run the Order's main temple. Is there anything I can help you with? What services do you offer here? Well, holy rituals are my strong point, but I can also try to teach you how to get closer to nature. Of course, I charge a slight fee for my teachings. What rituals can you teach? Okay. I guess... yeah. Not much more I want to learn that I can, so, well, okay. Teach me about nature? Ah, nature lore and Pathfinder. Interesting, but no thanks. What do you think of what's going on? Sky frowns. It seems out of character, and you can read the concern in her face. Well, it's been worse lately. With Ephesos gone, things are slowly getting away from us here. People are starting to argue freely, and Oakleaf has stormed off in a rage. Even the preserve is getting less ordered. I've heard that drakes are starting to nest in it, and that they're raiding the towns nearby. Because of all of this, I can't even enjoy a walk in the forest as often anymore. If nothing is done soon, the Order's influence on the valley will falter, and chaos will ensue. Do you think Brother Oakleaf will find Ephesos? Again, the Sky looks uncertain. This is very troubling to see in someone who's not normally perfectly calm. I'm certain Oakleaf will find Ephesos. I'm just worried they won't survive long enough to return. There's no way he can do it alone and survive. You must help him before he gets himself hurt. The Order cannot afford to lose him and Ephesos. Drakes in the preserve? Yes, it's sad but true. We've heard reports from Orin about drake sightings, and we've had some of our gardeners attacked around the southern end of this preserve. The Order of Flame is behind it somehow. I'm not quite sure how. As to why they'd sent drakes, I can't really say. We don't usually run into too many dryads. Sky doesn't look surprised. Well, it's not like we're terribly social. We spend most of our lives living with nature, so it's only natural that we don't hang around the Empire all that much. The Order's an exception, though. Everybody here really cares about nature, so we can all connect on that level. Still, it helps that Brooke works here in the temple as well. Brooke? She's the only other druid working here. She works in the kitchens upstairs. It really does help to have someone around who thinks like you do. I'd imagine so. Order Sanctuary. Okay, then. Order Library. Okay, nothing new there. We'll be going upstairs pretty much after we investigate. I didn't want to go down yet. Or up yet. Okay. Brother Oakleaf's quarters. Of course he's not there, which is honestly unsurprising. Ah, potions and the like. Not gonna steal anything, though. Dormitory. That makes sense. And the Swaying You Inn. A druid stands behind the counter polishing a goblet. Welcome to the Order's humble inn, the Swaying Yew. I am Brother Ewing. How can I help you? Can I get something to drink? We can. How much is a room? This may surprise you, but we don't charge with the room. It clashes with our Order's teachings. Then why do you charge for drinks? The inn is run by the Order. I run the brewery on the side with the Order's permission. Since the Order doesn't run my brewery, I can charge for drinks. Loopholes. You gotta love them. I imagine so. Alright. Let's investigate up above. You step out onto the walkways of the upper temple and are stunned by what you see. The buildings up here have been worked flawlessly into the treetops, and they're all connected by impressively made rope bridges. However, what amazes you most is that the treetops seem to be filled with small blue glowing flowers. You decide to ask Brother Elm about this when you see him next. Okay. Well, there's the kitchen. Somehow it doesn't surprise you when you see a dryad walking around the kitchen. The Order seems like a perfect place for druids to work with humans, really. In any case, the dryad greets you cheerfully. Welcome, adventurers. My name is Brooke, and I'm in charge of the kitchens around here. We don't see many dryads too often. Brooke doesn't look surprised. Well, it's not like we're all that extroverted. We spend most of our lives living with nature, so it's only natural that we don't hang around in towns and dungeons. The Order's an exception, though. The people here really care about nature, so we can all connect on that level. Still, it helps that Sky works here in the temple as well. Sky? Yes, she's the only other dryad working here. She maintains the altars downstairs and works with Brother Sharpclaw. It's always good to have someone around who thinks like you. Can I get some food? We can. Not going to. What do you think of what's been going on lately? Brooke's smile fades away and a look of genuine concern crosses her face. 'Tis terrible. I honestly don't know what I'll do if Ephesos cannot be found. I know the Order will suffer, and I don't know what I'll do without these people. They're my one connection to the human world. At least we have you to help us, she says, brightening up a bit. We know you can rescue Ephesos. Just look after Brother Oakley for us. Of course. We'll do the best we can. Ah, these are the inn rooms. Much of the Order's quarters are incredibly comfortable, and this room is no exception. If you chose, you could sleep for a few hours and recharge a bit. No, we don't need to. Okay, these are the dormitories. Oh, this guy's actually a guy. You enter the Order members' living quarters and find an aged druid relaxing in a small wooden chair. Greetings, fellow druids. I am Brother Pinebranch, eldest of the Order. We aren't druids, just adventurers. Are you sure about that? You think about it, but don't see what he's getting at. Let me explain, then. Back when the Order was newly founded, we had to make a name for ourselves, doing good around the valley, keeping the villagers safe from any threatening monsters. You get the idea. Soon, people grew to respect us. Behind that, though, was the fact that the villagers had learned some respect for nature from us, because we saved them by using nature's power. Good became synonymous with nature, and vice versa. I can see that you fight for good. It's plain as the light of day. We don't care if you use swords, fire, or fists to go about it, but it's still good work that you do. I respect you as an equal, a fellow crusader against evil. That is why I call you druids. Can you tell us about the Order's history? Of course I can. I've been here since the Order was founded. Back when we first settled the valley, it was filled with monsters. From goblins to drakes, we had them all. The poor villagers we found were almost overrun. We taught the villagers a bit of magic, a bit of defense, a bit about nature, and most importantly, how to survive. Our combined forces drove the monsters out, and our teachings helped the villagers' farms and towns flourish. Eventually, we noticed that some drakes that formed the eastern part of the valley were traveling in suspiciously large groups. Soon we found that the Order of Flame had taken up residence in the mountains east of our valley. Whereas we had taught the villagers peaceful arts, the Order of Flame taught its members how to cause more chaos than ever before. We barely fought them to a stalemate, which lasted until Ephesos was taken. Now the war continues. So how old are you? He stares at you for some time. Old enough to forget how old I am. Why is it named the Order of Krell? The Order is named after an Empire-controlled island to the southeast of Krisan and Valorum. Both Ephesos and Oakleaf come from that island, and both used to preach there. That's really the only reason. What can you tell us about Ephesos? That's a long story. Well, he started off as a preacher on the Empire-controlled island of Krell, preaching freedom and oneness with nature. However, the Empire's presence grew oppressive, and Ephesos started preaching against their tyranny. Predictably, he was thrown into Avernum. He told me that he spent the next few years wandering the caves, meditating. He practiced the same kindness he had shown on the surface, healing anyone and anything in need of it. During the war against Avernum, Ephesos helped the Ammonites hold their defenses and became one of the first humans to make contact with the Venati, after a party of adventurers told him of their plans. After studying with the Venati for 3 years, he finally returned to the surface, eventually wandering into this valley. He began gathering followers to help bring order to the valley, and soon the Order of Krell was created. More recently, Ephesos stopped an invasion by a vengeful and misguided group of Venati, who wanted to destroy the surface world for some reason. And of course, you know of his disappearance. Interesting. Very interesting. And then Ephesos went on to tell stories about other worlds and other adventurers, I imagine. What can you tell us about Brother Oakleaf? Brother Pinebranch pauses to think. Well, from what he's told us, he used to live on the island of Krell, just like Ephesos. He actually studied with Ephesos for quite some time, and preached Ephesos' message of freedom and oneness with nature. Like Ephesos, Oakleaf was thrown into Avernum. They parted almost immediately, Oakleaf choosing to actively plot against the Empire. He studied at the Tower of Magi for some time and helped plot Hawthorne's assassination. When the war started, he served at the front lines, healing Ammonites while slaying countless Empire soldiers. Still, by the war's end, he was ready to escape. He managed to find a route to the surface through miles of unexplored caves. Quite a feat. Upon returning to the surface, Oakleaf was appalled by the plagues ruining Valorum, and helped the Empire towns fight them off. Once adventurers stopped the plagues at the source, Oakleaf settled down and studied with the Anama for a year. Soon he took to wandering, and eventually wound up here. He joined Ephesos in cleaning up the valley and helped found the Order. Interesting hearing the stories about those guys. Looks like that just goes all the way to the other side, so let's continue going around. Okay, this is scrolls and the like, so this is just a storage area, I guess. Okay, this is the quarters that we investigated before. Yep, Brother Ephesos, Order High Priest. As you part the curtains of this room, a disembodied voice begins to speak. I'm sorry, but Brother Ephesos isn't available right now. Please leave his quarters immediately. As you say. You approach a shorter druid who is currently busy running back and forth between a work table and a cabinet filled with dried herbs. After a minute, he stops and looks puzzled. Oh, what do you want? I'm Brother Hemlock, he says, trying to turn back to his work. What do you do here? Brother Hemlock pauses for a moment. I work with herbs and potions, and I can teach a few things about alchemy. Don't even ask me about herbs, they're my own supply, you've got to go find your own. Can you teach me something about alchemy? We can learn something. Energy potion, and energy elixir, definitely. Okay, what do you think of what's going on in the valley? Can't talk, too busy. You leave him to his work, though it's not as if he's very talkative anyway. What's this building? Druid guards. Hall of Artifacts. Entry must be cleared by Brother Ephesos. Okay, then. I think that's about everything. Yeah, I think that's everything. So, yeah, I guess now we can leave. Walking by the road, you run into a group of patrolling guards. Once they see that you're not lizards, they approach you. You might want to watch yourselves out there, a guard tells you. There are more lizards out here than we've ever seen before, and we can't protect everyone. You quietly assure them you can handle a few lizards, and they depart uneasily. From the look of them, you're not sure that those guards could handle a drake between them. Hopefully you can help them before things in the valley get really bad. Indeed. Either way, that is going to be the end of this episode, because it's gone on about long enough. Okay. Seems Ephesos put a self-insert into this scenario, and he's in trouble. Okay, fair enough. He's not super mega powerful, even though he has quite a history behind him. Anyway, next episode we'll head out into the world and try and find our way to the next town. Till then, I'm Chester44, that is Fox, Shriek, Bonnie, and Draco. This has been a Blades of Avernum Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.